Hello everyone, my name is Tope Williams Adeomi, an entrepreneur and fashion professional who loves helping individuals and business owners turn their passion to profit. Thank you for listening to Business Nuggets by Matwain, a series of short tips and tricks that could help you with issues you're currently facing in your business. So today I start this series with the question, what's the worst that could happen? And I ask that question because oftentimes a lot of people are so scared to make the move, either in their business or like a personal decision that they have to make that has huge consequences. Now, I'm not saying that the fear is not valid. In fact, if you were not scared, I would be worried. Fear is good, but a lot of people are so crippled by fear that they remain stagnant for a long time. And then before you know it, a year goes by, 2 years go by, 3 years goes by, and they begin to regret that they didn't make that decision that was meant to change their life. Now, what I tell people in situations like that, and what I'm going to tell you today is, before you make decisions, if you are very scared, ask yourself these two questions. What is the worst that could happen? Because when you know the worst that could happen, then you are able to now give yourself a plan B. I will give you examples from the fashion industry because I'm more familiar with the fashion industry, but whatever industry you're in, the same principles apply. So in the fashion industry, you wanted to start a clothing line, you found a factory, you had so much faith in that factory, the factory messed up your clothes. You were so sad, you were so dejected, you were, in fact, it was just like the worst thing ever. But you still have that dream of starting a clothing line. So what do? A lot of people that I've spoken to have decided, I'm too scared to go and use another factory because they might wreck my clothes again. Yes, they will probably wreck your clothes again, and probably the third factory, and probably the fourth factory, and probably the fifth factory. But the truth is, what if they don't wreck your clothes, right? Your clothes are not going to sew themselves. So rather than just sitting down there in one position, ask yourself this question. What is the worst that could happen? I will lose money. Okay, if I lose money, what will be my plan B? I think the worst that can ever happen is probably you will lose money and maybe you will lose relationships, but at least next time you know what not to do. The second question you will ask yourself, if that worst thing happens, what can I do about it? I'll give an example. I had a very good job and I absolutely loved my job, but I decided to quit and go into fashion anyway. I've told this story so many times. Was I scared? Yes, because I was going to leave my family and friends to go to a place I didn't know anybody for 3 full years. But guess what? I asked myself this question. What is the worst that could happen? I could go there, I could love it, or I could go there, I could absolutely feel woefully, get kicked out of school, or absolutely even hate it. And then I come back and people start laughing at me. I would have lost my money and I'd have lost time. That's the worst case scenario for me. Now, what can I do about that situation? If that thing happened, what would I have done? And that opens a door to a plan B. So my plan B was, worst case scenario, I will go back to my office and beg them for my job back. Worst case, I take a demotion. That was it. And for me, when I weighed it, I'm like, okay, fine, I'll go ahead and do it anyway. At least I know that I have a plan B in the event whereby the original plan A doesn't work. So if you are caught in that same situation, and it doesn't even have to be business, it could even be personal, it could be anything really, always ask yourself, what is the worst that could happen? Because guess what? What you think is the worst might not even be as bad as you thought it was. The only thing I would say is don't overthink it. Because when you overthink it, then you now have so many permutations that you are calculating. It's just going to be worse. You're just going to give yourself a headache. So don't overthink it. Ask yourself, what is the worst that could happen? And then when you ask yourself that, it opens your mind to possibilities of having a plan B, a plan C, a plan D, and even a plan E. I hope this helps. My name is Tope Williams Adeomi, and you're listening to Business Nuggets by Matwain. So this is the first of this series. I've wanted to do this for a very long time, and I mean a very long time. I'm talking years. This is one of those moments that I said, look, you know what's the worst that could happen? Just do it. So please, if this helped you, please tag your friends, tag anybody, follow us on Matwain. We grant it, we share it, and also it will be interesting. Maybe you can also answer that question. Let's make this fun. Why not do this? Ask the question, what's the worst that could happen? You don't have to tell us what the decision is or what you're thinking about. Just ask the question, what's the worst that could happen? And then in the comment section, put a plan B as well. So in the comment section, put plan A, what's the worst that could happen? Plan B, think about the plan B, and then write a plan B. I think it would actually help give you more clarity on the situation. And I look forward to talking to you in the next episode. Have an excellent day and an excellent month ahead.